So has everybody found the chat box on the YouTube page? Let me know. I do believe we have some viewers because I think it says a couple are watching now. We've got about 5 people, but I would be thrilled to see if you can access the chat box, because the reason that I've moved over to YouTube Live, and we still may play with a Google Hangout, um, but the reason for that is because I cannot access the chat function on Google Hangouts, only the Q&A section, which might have to work. But YouTube offers us this chat box, which I really, really think is important in making this a conversation. Sorry, conversation. I have my voice in my ear. It's very confusing. um, but it's more of a conversation when I can see what you're saying, and there's a chat function where you can say hello or ask your questions in real time. So still playing with the platform. Thank you so much for joining me on all of these different platforms as we figure things out. I promise in the future it's going to be more consistent, and I will be doing these weekly, which is really exciting because you guys can submit your topics and let me know what you want to hear about. And we'll come up with the best platform that lets us have a conversation, lets me stream live to you, and, we're able to please everybody. Barbara's here. Both Barbaras are here. 2 Barbaras said they found the chat function. That makes me so happy. Thank you, Barbara and Barbara, because the chat has been such a challenge. But this seems to be working, and I'm happy about that. The other thing while we're waiting around hanging out that I want to announce is that we're going to start sort of like a guest features section of our group. And there'll be more details coming. But the reason that I don't know if YouTube Live streaming is going to work forever is because I'm not sure how to invite someone onto camera, because I want to be able to feature you guys and chat with you guys one-on-one about branding and things like that. So I'm looking into that. Stay tuned. All the updates for this are going to be in the Facebook group, so make sure you're just checking that regularly. If you find that it's a kind of passing through your newsfeed or it's not coming up for you, you can turn on the notifications in the group that will let you know when things like this come up. So just stay tuned there. I'm going to put all the details, but this will be a weekly event. We're going to talk about all the topics that you guys need help on, which you can submit to me in the group. And we're also going to do some guest features. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you, post in the group that you heard me chatting about this and you're interested in finding out some more, and we'll go from there. So Barbara is here from Asheville. Lovely. And we have a few other viewers. I don't know if they've found the chat box yet, but I'm about to dive in to the content. So you're going to see me I'm going from screen to screen right now because I'm looking at the chat box on the other screen here. And I've got my notes, so I'll be turning back and forth. But basically we're here today to chat and tackle this big question that I get over and over again. And not just with you yoga teachers, my yoga teacher community. I get it from clients all over. Because Facebook pages and Facebook groups are very different, but also both very beneficial to businesses of all kinds. And it just depends on what you want to use Facebook for and what features you want to have available to you for that to work for your yoga teaching biz. So the structure of how I'm going to talk about this with you is I want to tackle Facebook pages first, where I'm going to do a little bit of a pros and cons overview. And then we're going to go into Facebook groups, pros and cons, and then I'm going to sum everything up into like what my suggestion is for yoga teachers, whether you're just starting out or you're, 10 years in. All of this advice is very applicable regardless. Lisa's found the chat box, and so has Suzanne. Yay! Everybody's got the chat box now. That makes me so happy. I haven't been able to actually see chats and communicate with you guys in real time for a couple of weeks, so I'm really pumped about this. So Suzanne's here from Long Island. We've got people from lots of places, so I'm really excited. Keep using the chat box. Stop me, at any point if you have questions, and I'm going to pop on over there throughout the chat to make sure I'm checking in on you guys. So let's just dive in. So Facebook pages have been around and been, I would say, popular for businesses for a while. And some people that I've come across in the online world and across my trainings and my, studies through online marketing and things like that say that, the Facebook page is kind of starting to dwindle down and lose its relevance to the Facebook community. And I see where that's coming from, but I also really disagree with it disappearing. I think it doesn't mean that you shouldn't have a business page. So the reasons why business pages on Facebook are good things. Number one, Facebook ads. If you ever at any point are going to be hosting a retreat or some sort of workshop in your area and you want to learn more about putting up Facebook ads to target your community or target your audience, then you need to have a business page access for yourself. You need to have a business page functioning in order to run an ad on Facebook. So that in and of itself might be for some people the, why you need a business page. So you need it for Facebook ads. It's also allows you to have a presence on Facebook as a business. So it's really clear when you have a Facebook page, whether or not you call it Danielle Yoga or Yoga with Danielle or whatever you title your business page for yoga teachers, that it really gives you access to your audience as a business. And it's maybe not as engaging or personal, which we'll talk about in a minute, but it does really establish that business presence that you have services or products or something to offer, and you can organize your information on your page really easily. So you can have, a services section, you can have your about page, you can have your website listed right there. It's all really easy to access information about your business. So it's different in a group, which again I'll talk about, but it's just all there organized in a business fashion. It's easy to locate information that they need if they're coming to you as wanting your services or wanting to check out your schedule or things like that. So that's a couple of reasons, for Facebook pages, why they're good. The other things that I wanted to talk about with Facebook pages is that you can have a really clear call to action. So I need to figure out if there's a way through this to share my screen for the future. But if you go onto a Facebook page right now and you saw someone's Facebook page, up in the top right corner, there's probably a call to action button that says either sign up, book now, or contact us, or learn more. You can make a really clear button that links people to your website, links people to whatever your priority is. So if you want them to sign up for your email list, you've got that sign up button right there. If you want them to book in for a private session, you've got the book now option. If you want them to learn more about a package you offer or an online workshop that you're offering, then you can set that to be a learn now button. So it makes a call to action very clear on your page. And like I said, it's a business organization anyways, so it's outlining kind of you can add services tabs, you can add packages right now. You can offer, Facebook has just kind of integrated this thing where you can create offers and packages right on your Facebook page. So it's very business oriented. It very much shows that you are offering a service or a product. The other thing about Facebook pages is that you can customize apps. So if you go onto a Facebook page, again, you can go onto mine if you want. It's facebook.com/hellofunction. And the only reason I'm sending you to that one is because I've already put all this in place. You can see my call to action button. And then on the left-hand side, if you scroll down, there's apps, or at the top, navigation across the top. There's apps that say Function Blog, Instagram, Pinterest, and you can link your other accounts and, your subscribe page or your blog right onto your Facebook page so that people can click on these custom apps and they can be branded to you and you get to pick the content there. So they can access your Pinterest or your Instagram boards right from your Facebook page. So it kind of is a really good way of integrating and linking accounts and giving kind of a one-stop shop for your business. Do people always use these and are they highly engaging? I would say overall maybe not so much, but they are there if people do come across you and want to click on something and follow up with you. So really awesome that you can customize the apps and customize the content that you're putting on your page these days. Facebook has made some upgrades recently to make that a lot easier, which is really nice because Facebook likes to make money from ads and things like that, obviously, and they don't always make it totally easy for us to make money or promote ourselves on Facebook without paying for that. So they have made some upgrades, though, to the pages that have been really awesome in communicating your packages or your offerings and things like that. Laces here. Who else do we got here? Perfect. Okay, I'll come back to you guys in just a second. So yeah, the custom apps are really, really a good thing to have so that you can start to put your content specifically onto your page. And then also, the bonus about having a Facebook page and why I think it's really important these days, remember our past talks or anything that if you've heard me talk about this before, my authentic networking and showing up in Facebook groups and really offering value, not necessarily promoting yourself, but really connecting with your audience and really starting to talk with them and have a conversation instead of just talking at them. But to do that, how are they going to find out what you do or who you are? on your personal profile, you're able now to link your personal business page to that about section so that people can now see that you're a yoga teacher at Yoga with Danielle, and they can click on that page right from your profile, and they don't need to be friends with you to do that. You can make it accessible on public profiles. It's really awesome in seeing that if someone comes across you in a group, or you've been really helping them and providing value, and you've been showing up and they keep seeing your name in these groups or in this one group, they can go to your profile instead of adding you as a friend, because Facebook still has that personal, it's not totally business yet, and it still has that personal touch to it. Then they can easily see kind of what you do and where you work and what your business is without having to make that next step of maybe adding you as a friend or, that sort of thing. So it's important to putting that link to your personal profile so that people can make the connection. And then lastly, you can also tag your page in posts. So there might be, times where you're answering a question from someone on Facebook or someone's talking about your services. You can actually put the @ symbol and then start writing your page name and tag your actual page to that. So sometimes groups will allow this in your Facebook maybe community if you're in some groups, or if you're talking about your business or your page but they don't want links or something like that, kind of similar to how our group runs. You can tag your page, or you can send a tagged page post on your personal profile. So it'll allow it to become highlighted, and then the person can click on it and see what you do and what your page is all about. So those are some key pros to having a business page. So this is why, so you can kind of get an idea now to see why I don't think it's necessarily dead, and I don't think it's necessarily, obsolete to have a Facebook page. I think it's still really important for some things. It just might have changed, the purpose may have changed along the way somewhere. Let me pause and quickly take a look at our chat box here because I'm so excited about it. Suzanne, I know you're here to talk about pages versus groups, but I had a live that didn't really work last night, so I hope you can talk for a few minutes about why you're using YouTube. Absolutely, Suzanne, I will touch on that at the end of the chat, because I definitely have a few tips or a few experience feedback sort of tidbits for you that I can touch on. And then Lace, hello, will there be a recording? I need to leave in 20 minutes. Yes, you will get the recording. It'll be on YouTube, and I'll post it in the group for you, Lace. No problem. So I'll make sure I tag you in that so that you can get access. Okay. So let's move on to some of the cons about Facebook, or why a Facebook page, rather, might be shifting in its purpose, or might be something to, just a couple things to consider on whether or not it's going to be the utmost value to your yoga business. So I have two kind of main points I want to touch on here. The first one being that Facebook pages have become a little bit of a shift in engagement. I've had a Facebook page up now for as long as Function Design has been alive, which has been 2 years. And it's shifted in the engagement. And I've got a few pointers for you to kind of counteract this. If you do have a Facebook page and you're seeing low engagement, we can definitely do some things to pick that up a little bit. But there are a couple of things with engagement. So what I'm going to mention is that when you post content from your website onto your Facebook page, Facebook, it's not a fault of Facebook. They're there to make money, just, like any business really is. So if they see content from your website, they're likely assuming on some algorithm back-end system that we're promoting something, which is that's probably true. We're probably posting a blog post, or we're posting some of our offerings, or we're promoting our website and our business, which is kind of the purpose of the page. But they want you to go in and boost that post and pay for it to boost that post. Two things with that. Number one, to boost a post just for likes or views is kind of a vanity metric. And that means that you're paying to get likes and you're paying to get views, which is good, but you want that to be meaningful likes, and you want it to be meaningful comments and meaningful views. You don't want people just clicking on it because you've boosted it to pay for it. So we don't always want to pay for vanity metrics. I think it's rather important that we invest in maybe some ads or boosting our posts when it's necessary to get people on our email list, or maybe it is an offering that's kind of time sensitive and you're holding a retreat or a workshop and you want to target people to see that post. And I definitely recommend experimenting with this. If you do want to pay for some ads and some boosts on Facebook, it's like you can pay for like $5 a day. So if you want to take $5 and test it out and see what results you get, then that's totally a good thing to invest in. But when you're posting content from your website, Facebook wants you to pay to boost it. So they're going to not show that post to as many people on your page as you have. They're going to hold back on engagement, and less people are going to see that post. What I've found to be a little bit better for engagement when you are posting a link, when you put a link up, you can remove the preview. Remove the preview to your link that shows the picture and the blurb about what you're posting to, and instead upload your own image. So design a graphic or have some sort of graphic that you can upload that speaks to that link, and post that as an image with text and a caption with your link in it. That brings the engagement up a little bit more. So that's just kind of a little tidbit tip for you. And it kind of gets a little bit more into the algorithm so that it gets that post in front of more people on your page. So the other ways that I want to talk about engagement on that first point is that I find images do very well. So anytime I post an image from my Instagram account to my Facebook page, the engagement is much higher than a link or something like that. And then the other thing is just start engaging people in conversation. Ask people questions with your posts. Have something for them to respond to instead of just seeing your post and clicking it, or have something for them to engage with, because the more people like and comment on your posts, the more people that gets in front of, the more people that will see that post. So that's another kind of good way to get things in front of the right people. All right, so that covers kind of my first point about the cons of a Facebook page. The second thing I wanted to talk about is, or the second tip rather for Facebook pages, is that you can put, like if you're posting content to another site, so say you're posting from your YouTube channel like this video to something else, that engagement gets a little bit better and a little bit higher response, again, than posting from your domain. So Facebook has a whole algorithm set up on the back end, like I said, and it makes it hard to get your content in front of your people on your page without boosting it. But using these tips or posting your content that's hosted on another platform, that kind of thing helps with getting it in front of people as well. So those are a couple of cons. The engagement level, I would say overall, is a little bit of a con of a Facebook page, but you can definitely use it to be getting your content out. If you want to customize your apps again and you want to put your schedule in there, you can put your Acuity calendar. All of these things can be integrated into your Facebook page, which make it a one-stop shop for people, which is really helpful. It's a matter of kind of finding the ways to post to get it out there. And again, checking in to make sure that your engagement is what you're putting your effort behind instead of those vanity metrics. So yeah, if you have any questions about Facebook pages, then hop on over to the chat box and let me know. And then let's move on to Facebook groups. So Facebook groups have made a huge shift recently. And I think people are just realizing the value of community and the value of connecting with people online as we bring our businesses online and as we open up these gates to the online world. Facebook groups have become a lot more popular and a lot more engaged and helpful for people's businesses. A couple of pros for that is the community, building up the community and having like-minded people in one place. So as you have like-minded people in one place, it gives you a platform as a yoga teacher to share your value, share your voice, and share your content with people who are there to hear it. They're there for a specific topic, they're there for a specific reason, and they want to be hearing from you as an expert in that area. So providing value and using it. So for example, our Facebook group, the Build Your Brand community, I could have targeted all yoga teachers and just called it some sort of yoga teacher generic group. But it's really about supporting each other around business, building a sustainable business and building a brand and learning these resources and learning design ins and outs and things like that and how you can start to DIY your brand. It's all about that. So it's for yoga teachers who want to join for that purpose. So I've given it a really clear title. I've given it a really clear purpose, I hope. And I also don't have a platform to share blog posts or resources with yoga teachers necessarily specifically for yoga teachers. I've got my Function website, which has a yoga tab. By the way, I've updated the yoga tab. If you want to check it out, it's hellofunction.com/yoga. And I put all my teacher kind of resources in that one spot. So it's got the 5 ways to reach yoga teachers. It's got the branding checklist, that sort of thing. So I do have a little platform, but I don't blog specifically for yoga teachers like I would like to be right now. I don't have a podcast for yoga teachers. So my Facebook group is really my way of being able to reach you guys and share my tips and share my knowledge with you in a way that you're there for that reason. And I can share that with you openly. And we've got our files tab on our group where I can upload, checklists and things like that. And I upload these past live chats into our files tab. So it gives me a platform to connect with yoga teachers. and be sharing my kind of knowledge with them in that manner. It also gives you another bonus, which is polls. So you can't create a poll in on your Facebook page, but you can create a poll in a Facebook group. And the reason polls are so valuable is because we've used them before in our group, where you may have seen one or participated in one, where I say to you, what time works best for these live chats? And I give you options and you can vote. Or I'll pose a question to you like, what topic do you want to hear about next on our live chats? And you can vote for them. So it's a really good way to connect with your audience and get feedback onto their experience and what they want to hear from you, which you can't do on a business page. So that's a really, really great way to have a specific target audience in your group and get the information that's going to help you with your business goals and things like that to serve them, to better serve them. So that's awesome. The other thing is exclusivity. So a lot of these Facebook groups are closed groups. You have to request to join. And when someone requests to join the Build Your Brand group for yoga teachers on Facebook, I do a quick general, or one of my, like an admin on the group, will do a quick general overview of if there's any connection to yoga on their profile, or if sometimes you can get like spammy people joining and they're not really legitimate people joining your Facebook group. So you filter them out and you can accept them. So that just really keeps your audience kind of pure and on target for the people that you want to be speaking to. So that's a really good way for having like an exclusivity factor in your community. And it's a good way to get these people connecting with each other with like-minded people and ensuring that that's happening. Because on Facebook business pages, anybody can like your page. And, I do see sometimes some spam accounts liking my page, and I don't have control over that the way that I would in a Facebook group. And then again, you do have the ability with Facebook groups to tag your group in other conversations. So you can again put the @ symbol and type out your group name, and voila, you have a tag on your personal account or in other groups to tag back to your group. So that kind of makes the whole community base and being able to reach a specific audience is awesome for Facebook groups, and it's just so nice to build up that community. In our group right now, the community that we're building along with sharing resources is so valuable, and I love it. People are making connections, people are collaborating and inspiring one another to hold certain workshops, and we're changing kind of stories and exchanging ways of promoting and building our brand, and we're exchanging website reviews. So it's really helpful to have that community aspect in it. A couple of things with Facebook groups for the con side of the list is that the analytics aren't always there. You can't really see where people are coming from. You can't really see how many people have seen posts. I think some groups still have that feature where they can see how many people have seen a post in a group. I seem to have lost that ability in my group somewhere. Like I can't see how many people are seeing the content. So it's hard to keep analytics. Whereas in my Facebook page, I can actually see how many people have viewed that post or how many people have clicked it, things like that. So your analytics are a little bit less in a Facebook group. And of course, you're limiting, right? If you're building a Facebook group, you're building one with a very specific goal and audience in mind. So you can build a very generic group, but is it going to have as much traction and engagement and that exclusivity or that like-minded community? Is that going to be there if you're just kind of broadly casting a net? So when you have a Facebook group, if you have a particular aspect of your business that you want to build a group around, then that's really beneficial. But if you're just building it for a generic kind of environment for your business, it might not be as purposeful and it might not attract as many of the like-minded people or your target audience as you would hope for, or your ideal students. So it kind of can be, you've got to have a purpose for your group. You've got to have some sort of goal or audience in mind. And again, there's no organization or structure for business information. So if you're having a Facebook group for the purpose of business, it's hard for people to end up in your group and see exactly who you are or what you offer. You can include an about or a description page, which is like in our group there, the Build Your Brand group, has a description with the rules. They can click on members and see that I'm the admin if they want, but I'm not clearly up in front and center as the admin as I would be on the business page. And you can't include like your offerings and stuff like that unless you're posting it to your group. So you have the ability to pin one post at the top of your group. So if you have rules, you can post that at the top so that people just joining can see that. But it's a little bit harder to organize your group as a business page, the ability that you would have in a business page to do that. So a little bit of a limiting factor there for if your intention is purely business and to showcase you as a yoga teacher and what offerings you have, it might not be the right platform. So that kind of covers the Facebook group section, and I'm going to pop over here and see. Suzanne says there are people who get paid to click on stuff on Facebook. Yes, they also click on just random things, just random other stuff in order to cover their tracks. That's why you'll end up getting a lot of random people liking. And I totally can attest to that. Like, I see people that I'll see someone like my page, or if I've run an ad in the past, which I have before, or boosted a post in the past, which I have before, I'll see kind of likes or things that you just can tell they're spammy. You just look at the person's profile and you're like, this person has, no connection to my business, and they definitely have no relevance to be liking my page or liking my post. So you can tell that that's happening, and that's a vanity metric that we don't care about. We don't care about people liking our page. We care about people engaging with us in our business. So that covers kind of, the Facebook page and group purpose. And again, let me know if you have any questions about either one in the chat box. But to cover the whole spectrum of what we just talked about, my suggestions to clients and to yoga teachers specifically, when I work with you guys one-on-one, or we have a strategy session, is that being on Facebook and having a presence on Facebook, number one, is super important, because there are over 1 billion active users on Facebook, which is insane. And that pretty much guarantees that at least a large portion of your ideal students are on Facebook in some capacity. So having some sort of presence on Facebook is important, aside from maybe just your personal profile. And what I suggest to yoga teachers when they're either just starting out or thinking about their presence on Facebook is to start a business page. So start a business page on Facebook, get something up, get something, branded to you. And even if you're kind of just working through the branding process, like a few of you are now, get something up just to get yourself started, and start to get a presence built around that page. And then again, we don't need the vanity metrics. Just start to populate your content, start to upload your cover photo, see if you can customize some of the apps. Jessica Lynn, I'm going to use you as an example. She's in our group, and she is working through the Building Your Brand workshop with me for yoga teachers. And she had this really good question, and she's kind of the inspiration behind this chat today. And she asked, I'm working through the process with you with the workshop. Should I wait until I get to that part of the workshop and put up a page, or should I put one up now? And my answer to her was, put one up now, and get stuff up there. And then as you work through the branding process with me and through the workshop, we will start to populate that with more custom branded content. And I teach you through the workshop how to make the use out of those features on the page, and how to design your imagery and stuff like that to be tying back and connecting to you. So that's my first advice, is to get your page up. And then my second advice for around creating Facebook groups is that if you have a part of your yoga business, or there's some aspect to your brand that you think you can cultivate a community around, then absolutely 110% build a Facebook group and start cultivating that community, start building that audience, and start engaging with them, having conversations, and be providing your value through that platform. Once you are clear about your brand, and once you do work through the whole kind of process of setting up a sustainable business, and you figure out what your brand is, and you're a little bit more clear on those things, that's when you can start to pick out where and how a Facebook group might benefit you as a yoga teacher, and where and how the topics you might consider branding your group as. So it's something that maybe is a step ahead of you're just starting out. So it's kind of when you have a clear sense of what your community is and what your audience is, and what purpose you're going to use that group for. So have a very clear intention. And I'm going to use Beth in our group. Beth is also working through the workshop, the Building Your Brand workshop, and she has set up a Facebook group called Not Your Daughter's Yoga. And that is a very good example as to when and how you want to use Facebook groups for your business. So Not Your Daughter's Yoga is for middle-aged women, or women who don't feel that they're in the yoga stereotype. They feel very, nervous about going to a studio, or they are going through menopause, or they have these things that yoga can really help with, but do they dare ever step into a yoga studio? Probably not. And she's created this group around that community. And that is a really good example as to what you want to cultivate community around for her business specifically, because that's the target student and the ideal audience that she works with. And that she recently set up this group, and after, a little strategy session with myself, we talked about why that would benefit her business. And I think it's just growing, and it's going to really help her down the line have an audience to provide value to and talk about her services with when that comes up and things like that. So that's a good example as to when in your yoga business you might want to consider a Facebook group, because they are very, very valuable. They're very helpful for people, and people love the community aspect of it. And they may not even realize that before they get into the group, but once they're in and they see the connections they can make, it's very valuable. So let me hop over here to questions. Miss Ashley has joined us. Okay to promote our groups here, Suzanne says. So in the Build Your Brand Facebook group, we have a no promotions policy, because as Facebook groups grow, and I do suggest you do that in your own groups, and then just have threads either during some special day or ask for people to post links and have them post it there so that it doesn't turn into a promotional ad board, because that gets really out of hand. And I've left groups many times because people go for that purpose and that intent. And when they're being kind of bombarded on their newsfeed with promotions that might not apply to them, or they haven't gone to that group for that reason, then it gets a little bit, it gets like an ad board. It's like, it doesn't become a community anymore. It becomes a classified section. So we have specific days where we promote. Suzanne, I'll post in our group a thread this week where we can, and I'll tag you in the comments section, where I'll ask you guys to promote your Facebook groups, because I know there's a few people in our group that have them, and I would love to feature them. So I'll create a thread. It'll be a question session. I think tomorrow, we'll do it tomorrow, because I think we have a question session coming up this afternoon already. But I'll post that. I will make sure I tag you in it so that you can promote the group. And I would suggest kind of that structure for any group, really, because it does get overwhelming to have tons of people promoting other things besides the intent of your group. So Suzanne, you had a really other good question. Yes. So here I am on YouTube live streaming to you guys, and it's not super ideal maybe because it's not popping up in our group. I would love for this to be popping up and being in our group. But I've tried Facebook Live a couple of times. A couple of times it's worked really well, and a couple of times it really hasn't. And I did a couple of weeks where I tried it, and it wasn't working. It was really choppy. The audio was very choppy, and it just wasn't reliable for me. I don't know if it was a symptom of my phone. I still don't know the exact cause. It's weird. My account works on other people's phones, but not. It's very strange, and I can't figure out the exact why as to why it's not functioning properly. So I've hopped onto YouTube live streaming where I can have it recorded. It'll be on my YouTube channel where I can send the link back to the group. And that kind of is what's working for me right now, just with the chat and with live streaming. I still have glitches to work out. Like I said, I've got to figure out how I can share my screen, and I've got to figure out how I can invite people, because as I said at the beginning, if you missed it, I want to be able to invite some of you guys on screen to either ask questions or as a guest feature. So I want to start featuring people and hearing about what you're up to and how we can help you with your brand a little bit more one-on-one. I just need to figure out the best platform to do that. So it may still be in YouTube Live. It may go over to Google Hangouts. I super appreciate you guys being with me as I figure this all out, but it will end up being consistent, I promise, at some point soon, and we're going to be hosting them weekly. And if you are, again, interested in something like a guest feature, or you've got questions that you really love to hop on and chat about with me one-on-one, please let me know in the Facebook group. You can post and mention me. And I'm in there all the time, by the way. So if you have questions that come up about this kind of content, the Facebook group pages, or any other branding, design, marketing, promo topics, then please do hop over there. I'm in there all the time. But if you're interested in the guest feature kind of aspect, please let me know, because as I figure this out, I believe we'll be having our first one next week, if we can figure out how to share the screen and invite people up on camera. So, it's Ashley. What apps work well with Facebook pages? So you can integrate Instagram. I've got my Pinterest integrated. You can integrate your own email subscription. If you're on MailChimp, you can integrate on Facebook pages. You can add any custom page. So if you've got a page on your website that is your blog or some other content or service, you can integrate that as a custom app. So it really works well with kind of anything. If you can look up tutorials on how to start to integrate them and customize them, then there's lots out there that you can find to walk you through the steps. And Miss Ashley, you also said, I have a Facebook page, but still working through the branding, so it's not yet public, but trying to set things up for when I'm ready to be public. So absolutely. And if you feel better waiting until that's done, then by all means do it. If you feel okay about just putting up a page with a little bit of information about yourself and not branding it right away and then customizing it as you work through the branding process, then that's also an option that I think is totally fine. It's totally okay to introduce branding or rebrands or go back and rebrand your whole business later on. People are not going to shun you for it or unlike your page because you've unbranded it. So whatever you feel most comfortable with, but you absolutely can have something as like a placeholder or something in the interim as you're working through the process. And what I did want to mention is that in the workshop, the Building Your Brand workshop, for yoga teachers, we work through a whole kind of social media module, essentially, or a bunch of topics on social media, and we cover Facebook in a little bit of that. And we talk a lot about the designing and branding your social media and how to make it yours and how to make the connection to you and customize things like that. So that is all in there. And the other thing I wanted to mention, if you haven't already signed up, is that a friend of mine who's a social media strategist and I are hosting a live chat tomorrow night. It's on a platform called Blab. And it's tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And it's not yoga teacher specific, but it's social media strategies and design branding strategies for your social media pages. And if you want to sign up for that, you can sign up at bit.ly/June15chat. And it might be helpful, even though it's not yoga specific. It's for entrepreneurs and small business owners, so we are that. So I'll just put the link in the chat. So it's a very casual live chat. It's not a webinar. We're not even calling it a webinar because it's really just a chat with us being up there and a chance for you to come on camera and ask your questions to a social media strategist and a branding and design expert. So I put the link in there. If you have any questions at all, again, about social media, about Facebook pages or Facebook groups, I've already said, Jessica Lynn and Beth, you're in my workshop already working through this process. I've had one-on-one time with Beth where we've come up with strategies around her group, and I'm happy to answer questions about these things or any other branding topics or building a sustainable yoga business topic in our group. And if you're not in our group and you've stumbled upon the chat somehow, facebook.com/groups/yoga brand workshop, and we're all in there kind of connecting. So, and if you want any more information on the Building Your Brand workshop for yoga teachers and what that process is and what's included, it's at youryogabrand.com. So you can check that out, and I'm always available for questions. I'm always open to hear from you because I really, really do love engaging with you, and I've talked with so many of you one-on-one already, and we've connected through brand consultations and things like that. And I love just hearing what you're doing, and I'm really looking forward to having these live chats be able to feature you and guest kind of share and hear what you're up to and how we can help you with your brand and your business. So I'm really excited about that. I'm hoping to work out all of these technology kinks soon. Thank you so much for sticking with me as I work through them because it's going to be a little bit of a process. It's a little bit of trial and error, but we're going to get there. And then we're going to host these really awesome live chats every week about a topic that you want to hear about and something that's going to benefit you, and I'm super pumped. So thank you for showing up today, and if you're not here in person, I hope the replay gave you lots of value and answered your questions about Facebook pages and Facebook groups, and I hope to see you guys all in the Facebook group where we're chatting and connecting and loving on each other, and Suzanne, I will post that thread for you about promoting your Facebook group tomorrow afternoon. So thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful day, evening, morning, whatever time zone you're in. I'm in lunchtime, so I'm going to go get some food, and then I'm going to enjoy the rest of my day, and I'm going to go for a nice bike ride and take some time to disconnect. So thank you so much for being here. Mwah! I'll see you in the Facebook group.